The Q&A is your moment of truth at the end of your presentation. How you handle unexpected questions in front of a live audience, in person or virtually, can literally make or break your credibility. How can you answer questions effectively? What if the question is confrontational? And what if you don't know the answer? In this video, you will get 5 key tips to nail your next Q&A and have your audience looking at you as the authority on your topic. Hey, I'm Riaz. Welcome to the Every Conversation Counts platform. This is the channel that helps leaders, coaches, and content experts to connect every time you present. If you're looking to maximize your authentic impact, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for the heads up when new content is released weekly. Now, you can prepare all you want and then ace your presentation, but it's the end that creates a common fear. And that fear is the unknown that comes with the Q&A, more so now in virtual meetings. What if you're asked a tough question and your mind goes blank? It's a common problem, and research has proven that when we're not sure how to respond, that feeling is interpreted as a threat by our brains. This leads to a fight or flight response that blocks the creative thinking needed to deliver a clear and confident answer. The key is to remember that questions are a great sign of engagement and interest in your content. Instead of fearing the unpredictability, this video will give you the confidence you need with impromptu questions that will help you shine in front of your clients, customers, and coworkers. If you want to own the room during your next Q&A, consider these 5 ideas. Number 1, the 3-point play. Once you've listened, clarified, and understood the question, how do you actually answer it effectively? A simple 3-point play for you is this. What's your point? What's your proof? What's your practical takeaway? What's your point? You want to state your opinion or perspective in a quick sentence or 2. Then, with your proof, be ready to back it up with examples or stories that support your argument. And then finally, the takeaway, you want to deliver something specific in terms of an idea that emphasizes your point that will help your audience remember it. Now, you can practice this idea beforehand by brainstorming questions you anticipate people are going to ask you. Now, here's an example. Earlier this year, pre-COVID, I was presenting at a showcase for Creative Mornings Vancouver. Here's a look at the 3-point play in action.
And my question is, do you have a favorite question to ask people when you're just starting to connect with them at the beginning of an interview?
Yeah, you know, beginning of an interview or just beginning of any conversation that you meet somebody with, I just like to go back to the basics in the space of what's on your mind. Like if you look at Facebook, what's the question they ask you when they want you to post? What's on your mind? Because instead of a guessing game of what is the priority, especially like if you're in a scenario where you're networking and you're like, oh, I hate small talk. If you just pause and you're with somebody and you're like, hey, so what's on your mind? They're going to tell you the priorities that are occupying the space. So it is not a guessing game. So if it's ever been a guest, if I'm in the green room, I know the questions I want to ask and the stories I want to draw out, but the first thing I'll ask is, hey, so what's on your mind? What's going on? And the stuff they give me is actually new, fresh, and then I'll just reinvent the interview before we do it because they've given me something. I think the thing that I learned is I try not to ask people the questions that you can find on Google. Instead, do a deep dive of, okay, we know about that, but what does this mean? How is this impacting you? So you keep it fresh for the person. But as a starting point, what's on your mind? Now, how weird is it to see all of these people together in one room? Hopefully we'll be able to get to do that again soon. Number 2, focus on what you can agree on. Sometimes you're faced with people who disagree with your point of view. In order to turn that potential confrontation into a collaboration, focus on what you can agree on. Relationship is the foundation for productive dialogue, and the key here is to find common ground first to diffuse any potential tension. Now, game theorist Anatole Rappaport shared a strong framework to handle these types of situations. To recap their perspective, that's number 1. You could say, if I'm understanding your take, you feel, and then once you've recapped that, share the common ground. Now, we both think that, and then fill in the blank, then identify the difference of opinion with the one area where we have different perspectives is, and then finally share your proof. The reason I believe this approach is valuable for one key reason. You are acknowledging the other person's point of view first and making that person feel heard. When you do that, it will be easier to have a productive back and forth and encourage them to be open to new ideas or perspectives. Number 3, build your story inventory. Document stories that are good examples of personal transformations that evoke emotion and connect with your listeners. For each point you make, have a persuasive story to back up your stance. And you can prepare for this by writing down a good 6 to 10 personal or inspirational stories you can draw from and reference when responding in the Q&A. Number 4, answer the question. Literally, answer the question. Having interviewed countless subjects as a television host, the number one mistake I see interviewees and presenters make is that they don't answer the question. A lot of the time, people are so distracted by their own nerves, they don't fully listen to the question being asked or possibly have their own hidden agendas and end up rambling on several tangents that fail to address the point of interest. Acknowledge the person asking the question, pause, reflect on it, ask for clarification if you need it, as it's really important to ensure you understand what's being asked first, then share your insights. If it looks and sounds like you're dodging the question, your credibility will be questioned. Bonus tip, if the question is ambiguous, confirm you've answered what was being asked. Seasoned speakers recognize they are there to serve. It's important to share your answer, then confirm with the person, does that answer your question? Number 5, show them it's a good question. When someone asks you something you're unsure about, instead of saying, that's a really good question, which, let's be honest, is a stall tactic and can alienate other audience members that don't get the same response. Instead, just pause. Your confidence to pause and reflect after a question shows them you're taking time to reflect on what they just asked you and can even build anticipation for the insights you are about to share. Sometimes we get caught in the trap of trying to answer as quickly as possible, and the only thing that comes out of our mouths are those dreaded filler words. If you really do like their question, be specific about why you think this is an important point to cover rather than a generic, that's a great question comment. With a strategic approach, the Q&A can become an enjoyable and powerful experience for you. Brainstorm the questions you think might be asked, prepare your 3-point plays, then think about the key stories to share, and most importantly, think about what your audience needs right now. Questions are a great sign of interest in your content, and if you prepare for the unexpected, your credibility will benefit from your efforts. In the end, if you don't know the answer, be honest about it. Get back to them and build that relationship offline. Now, what do you fear most about the Q&A, and share your best tips that help you thrive in the unknown. For more ideas on how to connect with others, you can download the free guide, The 5 Secrets to Making Every Conversation Count. That link is in the description. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to project confidence when you present or captivate your audience when speaking virtually, check out these videos. If you like this content, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and feel free to share the content. We'll see you in the next video.